Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is Justin Banon, co-founder and CEO of Boson Protocol, a project pioneering a capture-resistant dCommerce ecosystem using NFTs encoded with game theory. Justin, it's great to meet with you. Welcome to Trade Talks.
It's great to be here, Jill. Thanks for having me.
You got it, Justin. And explain to the audience what NFTs are and how they work.
So NFTs are unique digital objects. Usually they are used to represent things like digital art, for example, or other sort of static objects. In our case, with Boson Protocol, we use NFTs to represent objects that are a bit more dynamic, that have state, so can change from state to state.
And why are they gaining in popularity?
They're gaining in popularity because they can represent things that provide this sort of digital scarcity. So instead, one of the challenges with the digital world is that you can you can copy and then paste, and create many copies of the same thing. And so obviously that means that same thing doesn't have any value because it has no scarcity. But with an NFT, they provide this scarcity, so therefore they can be things of value, things that are unique or scarce.
And Justin, let's discuss Boson Protocol in more detail. What is a resistant dCommerce ecosystem, and what makes NFTs encoded with game theory unique?
So Boson Protocol provides it's like an internet for commerce, if you like. It's a public infrastructure layer that enables buyers and sellers or brands and buyers to connect without an intermediary. And the way it enables that is that the buyers and sellers will buy a commitment to deliver a real world item, and that commitment is represented as an NFT, as one of these scarce digital items, and it's encoded with game theory, which is a bit like a service level agreement, or the buyer and the seller will place deposits which are returned in return for the buyer and seller behaving fairly. So what it does is it regulates this transaction in a way that usually requires a centralized intermediary like an Amazon or an eBay, but it's automated using an algorithm.
And finally, you just concluded a 25.8 million public token sale. What will that enable Boson Protocol to do?
So that funds Boson Protocol to build out a whole roadmap of products and use cases, and also to build these components of what we call a dCommerce stack, so decentralized commerce components that will sort of unbundle these big e-commerce giants. And also, whether we build those ourselves or also fund other projects to build out this ecosystem.
All right, Justin, appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks, and thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.